Welcome to this special conversation in the beautiful city of Bangalore. And here we are in a city within a city. A perfect example of a smart city here at Brigade, and I'm in conversation with MR Jaishankar. He's the Managing Director and Chairman of the group. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to have this chat with you. And I must admire the space you've created. I grew up in this city, and for me it's a wonder to see something like this in Bangalore, where there's a mall, there's a hospital, a school, a hotel, and an entire office complex within the World Trade Center. Is this the format that you will take and replicate in the 4 other cities that you're building?
I would love to replicate, given an opportunity to create projects of this nature. I very strongly believe in the concept of mixed-use development, which is what I think is the way forward for growing urban metropolises. And because ultimately we developers don't have control what happens outside our projects. So I strongly feel we need to build an environment, an internal environment that is conducive to living.
So, I mean, the challenge obviously in our cities will be finding land for a project of this size. This used to be a Kirloskar factory, and I understand in Chennai you're looking at what you acquired from Nerolac. But again, replicating that, finding the right chunk of land is going to be very difficult in any other city, isn't it? How will you manage that?
See, the thing is, it requires certain amount of luck, and you need to get the right property for the right price in order to make it into a feasible, commercially viable project. The one we acquired from Nerolac will be a mixed-use project, but not to this scale. It will have a World Trade Center Chennai, and it will have premium residential. But unfortunately, I cannot create rest of the facilities like a mall. And
why not?
The size of the project is much less, and also sometimes you need to create the right project for the right property.
You're also building in Kochi, which is very interesting for me, because not a lot of the other large national developers have gone to Kochi. Tell us why you narrowed in on Kochi. What's interesting about Kochi for you?
Kochi is an upcoming, I would say, IT market, and we are co-developers with the government of Kerala, a project called Kochi Info Park. There we have developed a World Trade Center Kochi, which is the first phase is complete and the second phase is under construction. Along with that, we are also doing a 4 to 5 star hotel called 4 Points by Sheraton.
What is the occupation levels right now within the World Trade Center in Kochi?
In Kochi, I think it's about 70% plus is occupancy.
And what rental?
The rentals are in the range of 40 rupees a square foot.
Does that leave you with enough margin then?
Reasonable. I think we would definitely, any developer would definitely like it to be better.
It's a sort of a futuristic bet then for Brigade.
It's not that futuristic, because there are already 50,000 people working in that Kochi Info Park. That way, I think it's an upcoming market. Maybe where Bangalore was 15 years back.
There's Hyderabad also, which I understand is one of the 5 World Trade Centers that you will build in South India. You haven't started in Hyderabad?
No, we are looking at for the right property and for the right location. Land.
What are the challenges with land in Hyderabad?
Land, I think one is to make any project feasible, it should be at the right price and in the right location. That is, in most real estate projects, that is what is required. And it should be of where we can build at least 1 to 2 million square feet. That size it should be there.
Okay. We understand that the Telangana government is very proactive at this point and being very aggressive, especially for IT and IT space, which plays well into your plans. Has that not helped in acquiring land or finding the right parcel?
No, we are in touch with the Telangana government, and I do agree with you. They are very proactive. The IT minister and the rest of the officers there are very proactive, so that is very encouraging. So hopefully we should get some support from the government.
So I understand that you have a plan for this financial year to start 6 million square feet of commercial space that will eventually go up to 10. Is that largely going to be Bangalore? Will Bangalore will receive the chunk of that attention, or
the chunk of the development will be in Bangalore. About 4 to 5 million square feet will be in Bangalore. We acquired quite recently the project from property from Unilever.
yes.
So in
the Brookfield property,
there
right.
we will come out with about 3 million square feet of IT office space, SEZ office space.
And will that also be mixed use? How much? What is your plan?
It will be predominantly an IT SEZ, but with some support services like maybe the necessary retail, conference, and maybe a service department.
Okay. And this is, of course, in partnership with GIC.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Could you tell us details of how that breaks up for you and GIC in terms of the ownership? What is the nature of that partnership?
You can say it's a 51-49 ownership between Brigade and GIC.
Right.
And it's a joint venture. And we have already launched another residential project in Whitefield called Brigade Cosmopolis, which is a very successful project. Coincidentally, that property was also acquired from Unilever.
Yes.
And the third of our properties would be the one we acquired from Nerolac.
I also understand that you're sort of now tilting your focus closer towards commercial spaces. Currently at about 50% of your total portfolio. You want to bring that up to close to 30% from what I understand?
Yeah, that is the intention, because
is that because residential is not moving as fast
real
as we
estate
thought?
is always cyclical. There are times when residential will be doing much better than commercial, and there are times when commercial will be doing better. And I think currently we're in that cycle where commercial is doing better than residential. We are hoping by the time all of our projects are ready for occupation, the market stays like that.
I want to understand from your commercial plan, of course, you were the first in the city of Bangalore to launch commercial space that companies owned.
Yes,
and they weren't they were leasing up till then, and they began to own it. Now, I mean, obviously that was a very long time ago. Now you're looking at gaining a lot of income coming in from your rental yields, so commercial space that you're able to rent out.
Yeah.
What is your plan on your commercial portfolio? Are you looking largely at it becoming a steady source of income from rental?
Undoubtedly, currently the group has about 200 crores of revenue, annuity income from the commercial. That I think in 2 years' time, hopefully it should reach about 300 plus crores. And over a period of time, we would like to reach 500 plus crores.
All right. I also want to ask you this. You said, of course, that it's a slightly tough real estate market. We're in a down cycle right now. But your company is looking at 28% growth on both revenues and net profit. You have a 1:1 equity debt. You're very well placed in this market where everybody else seems to be struggling. So,
thank you. I think I wouldn't say everyone is struggling. There
but it's a large portion. I mean, these are pain points for the market right now. Debt, particularly, is a pain point, given the interest rates at which a lot of people are having to raise their funding at in order to complete their project. So to have that kind of debt ratio, to have that kind of growth right now, even in comparison to the other listed companies in Bangalore, it's fantastic.
No, thankfully we have done well, and I think the team is working hard to continue to do well. So I hope the market permits us to do.
What have you done differently?
No, I think we have exposure to all aspects of real estate, be it residential, which is primary, and the office space, and the retail sector also by way of mall and multiplexes. In addition to that, we also have exposure to hospitality sector.
But since we are focusing so heavily on commercial space, if we look at the research numbers that came out, of course, Bangalore is still, sort of sucking up a large portion of the commercial space supply that's coming in. Still the strongest market. Pune is not bad, not far behind. Do you have plans for Pune? Is that a market you're at all interested in?
Currently we don't have plans for Pune. Not that the market is not good. I think we feel real estate business is not a pan-India business. We have always felt like that, and each city. But
you're a pan-South India business.
pan-South India currently.
So the argument that you have to really know the market would be fine if you were staying in one city, but you are across several cities in South India.
Several cities in South India, and also I'll be happy to say we are entering Gujarat.
Okay.
Yes, and Gujarat is coming out with the first International Finance Center,
yes.
IFC,
yes. Within Gift City.
Within Gift City.
What will you be building there?
We will be building both a 3-star hotel and a ACZ office space of
What
about
size?
500,000 square feet.
Okay.
To begin with.
Okay. And when are you launching that?
In about 2 months' time, we intend commencing construction, and it may take 2 years to complete.
You said to begin with. So what is the full plan? When you step back from the page, what does it look like?
It all depends on how the project is received and how the performance of Gift City is in years to come. If Gift City is well received by the, I would say, financial sector, there is no reason why we cannot expand our operations.
Maharashtra is planning an IFC inside BKC in Mumbai.
Yeah.
They're fairly close to each other. If you consider that eventually we'll have a bullet train connecting those two cities, does India need two?
I don't think so.
And for someone like you who's betting on
I
Gift
don't
City
think
doing
so,
well.
because primarily because after nearly 70 years of independence, we got the first IFC, are going to get the first IFC, and I don't think there is a need for a second IFC within a year of that. But we are living in a competitive world, whether it is in the private sector or the government sector. The state of Maharashtra has got a very dynamic chief minister, and from the same BJP party, and you never know what happens next.
Again, this is extremely exciting for me. I grew up in the city of Bangalore. The brand Brigade always stood for these large buildings, these big homes. It was completely aspirational. To now make it accessible to the people of the same people of the city, between 10 and 25 lakh rupees, if I'm not mistaken, is fantastic. I want to understand from the back end, how are you making that work?
No, firstly I must correct you that today value homes what we are offering is not in the 10 and 25 lakhs range.
Isn't anymore? Okay.
It isn't anymore. Maybe for 3 to 4 years back, 3 years back, we did offer at about 20-25 lakhs, and maybe about 12-13 years back we offered at 10 to 13 lakhs.
So what are we at right now?
Today it is more in the range of about 30 to 35 lakhs. And as far as
does that still qualify as a value home in Bangalore?
The definition of the government of India's definition of affordable housing or a value home is 65 lakhs. So which varies from
according to the budget that came out, the affordable housing was almost 60 square meters, which is based on size.
See, that is as far as the size is concerned. But as far as the value is concerned, it is about 65 lakhs.
But I don't know, I mean, I would say that in Bangalore that qualifies more as mid-income housing when you go into the 35-40 lakh rupee.
See, the size of the budget or the definition of value home or affordable home keeps on changing once every 2-3 years.
Yes, I suppose.
So which is based on the affordability of the the citizens. And what was affordable like 10 to 15 lakhs 15 years back, the same property today costs maybe 60-70 lakhs.
True. Okay.
So that's the kind of appreciation the sector has seen in the last few years. And for a person from Bangalore, maybe 50 to 60 lakhs is affordable. For a person from Mumbai, it could be 100 lakhs, maybe they will say it's affordable.
It's affordable.
But if you go to tier 2, tier 3 city, then they may still say, is it 10 to 20 lakhs? It may be affordable in that price range.
So tell me about the new launches you're looking at within value homes. Where else will you be building Brigade value homes? What sort of neighborhoods or what sort of cities are you looking at?
Naturally, Bangalore and also in the city of Mysore. These two cities we are looking at strongly, and we are exploring opportunities in Chennai and Hyderabad.
Chennai and Hyderabad. Yeah. And in the Brookfields complex that you're building, what will the residential property be priced at?
No, there is no residential
property
in Brookfields. It is 100% SEZ with, as I said, some support facilities.
Okay. Right now, if we look at the residential market again, there is a huge issue of delays across the board. I mean, in some parts of the country worse off than the rest. We know that the NCR market right now is having a far bigger problem than we're having down south. What do you think is the main cause for delays? Again, it's something that your group has managed to keep its head above the water with, but what's causing the problem across this market?
I would say it is a simple economics. the supply is much more than demand. And since the Indian economy was growing at 8-9%, I think the business community or the real estate developers with a robust demand also planned for many projects, and on the assumption that the economy will continue to grow at 8-9%. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Added to that, the general recessionary situation across the world, with probably with an exception of India and United States. The rest of the world is not in great shape. Not that we are in fantastic shape, but on a relative basis, we are still better off than most countries. So I think the international economic scenario also has had a dampening effect on Indian market. Generally, the perception has changed. And not that the market is bad. The demand for, I would say, as far as Bangalore is concerned, the demand for residential units is still in the range of 50 to 60,000 units or more per year.
But it's softening. If we look at the sales numbers of most of the listed companies, the last 2 quarters, Bangalore has slowed down in terms of. I'm not saying it's come to a grinding halt, but we've seen the sales numbers slide. Does that make you nervous, or do you just think that it's symptomatic of what's going on in the?
No, it doesn't make me nervous. It definitely makes us cautious and to relook at our growth plans or expansion plans in the residential sector. It's basically because the market has got 3 kinds of customers. One is the speculator who will always try to make a quick buck in a rising market.
Who has left entirely, from what I understand.
Yeah, normally when the market softens, the speculator vanishes. But the other 2 segments, which is that of investor and actual user, still continue. And
are you glad to see the back of the speculator at least?
No, I won't say I'm glad to see because they are essential part of the
purpose.
Serve the purpose. They are the market makers, so that way they are required. And whether it's in stock market or real estate sector, it is a speculator who creates the buzz.
It's a tastemaker in the sector. So. A lot of this is a trend we are noticing across the country, where a lot of developers are now resizing units to bring down the ticket size and make it more accessible, thereby hitting the demand bracket that we've seen, which is 30 to 70, or in Mumbai, like you said, slightly higher. Is that something that you're looking at as well?
Naturally, when you to make things more affordable in any particular segment. If I'm doing a 4-bedroom of 3,000 square feet, in order to make a 4-bedroom more affordable, next time I may plan a 2,500 square feet 4-bedroom luxury. And similarly, if it's in a budget, if I'm doing 1,500 square feet 3-bedroom, I may end up doing maybe 1,350 to 1,400 square feet. That way, you give the same kind of facility, but at a lower cost to make it affordable. But having said that, in real estate, you can't make changes overnight. It's there is a certain amount of time required to make any course correction, primarily because once you receive the approvals and once you start the project, there is no way you can make the changes. You have to live with it.
I mean, since we brought that up, Bangalore, like many of the other cities, might not be as bad a case as other cities, but there are several authorities with overlapping jurisdictions. One project requires permissions from various people. Building construction codes are not completely, ironed out as to what the rules are and on what basis the approvals are being handed out. How challenging is that for you when you're looking to build projects of this size? The fact that there's mixed use, so there are lots of various things that come into play. How challenging is approvals in the city of Bangalore right now?
It is quite challenging, and I can only, unfortunately, I have to say it's becoming more and more challenging year after year. Having said that, I would still say Bangalore, the clarity of rules are quite clear, quite good. But the problem is, the number of levels it has to go through in order to get an approval, and the number of different departments are, unfortunately, there is no single window agency.
The government is pushing. We've had the RBI governor saying now it's time for you to bring down your rates. We've had the finance minister say over and over again that we need affordable homes. You need to build affordable homes. There's this plan of housing for all for every Indian. But if we don't get this process under control, which is the approval process, the single window, just to bring it on par to global standards, we're not asking for a great deal here. Do you think it's possible at all to build the kind of affordable housing that India really needs if we don't get approvals on time?
No, why the governor of RBI or the finance minister, even we would like to say we would like to make the cost of owning a home much more affordable or cheaper. But the real culprit in the whole thing, I don't mind saying, is the government. It's the kind of taxation it has, it imposes on real estate sector is huge. Whether in a state of Karnataka, like if you take the VAT and service tax, it has a 16%, 15 to 16% impact on housing.
So actually give us a breakup for our viewers to understand. If I pay 100 rupees towards my apartment, or in your full all-inclusive everything, how much of that 100 directly or indirectly is going to one government body or the other? Because it's going to central, it's going to state, it's going to local. There are three.
I think at least 30 to 35%. 30 to 35% will go to the government in some form or another. This is excluding the taxes we pay on the materials.
It's odd.
This is more like a direct VAT, service tax, stamp duties, and maybe the utilities cost by way of deposits, approvals, and various cesses and surcharges. It will be about 30 to 35% will be the thing. That is what we are saying.
That's a straight off that can be rationalized immediately.
Exactly, no.
And I know this is
if
uncomfortable.
The government wants to reduce the cost of owning a house. It is very simple. Reduce the taxes by 10-15%. I don't make it zero. But at least you can bring it down by 10%, if not...
Actually, the other thing that would automatically bring the prices of homes down is local level corruption, which I know that a lot of the industry doesn't talk about. But it's present. That there's one fee that needs to be paid for an approval, which is on paper, and there is a fee that needs to be paid to the people who are handing out these approvals, and this is the case across the country. How important is it for the central government to address this problem, even though it's at the local level?
I think it's very, very important to address this problem. I'm glad to say, based on what we hear and what we read, I think the level of corruption at the center has dropped substantially is what we hear, which is a fantastic news. I only wish that it percolates downwards to various levels.
Because as a developer, you're dealing largely with local government. Not so much environment goes to the center for a large project, but it's mostly on the local government level. So again, a lot of times the response we've got from the central government is a local problem has to be solved on the local level. But it doesn't seem to be the valid solution at this point.
It is true, but the good work should always start from the top. And I think I must compliment the Prime Minister and a number of other ministers to say that they seem to have started right from the top. And over time, hope and wish and pray that it percolates downwards fast enough.
The other big, obviously, reason to give credit to the government is RERA. Big move, waited for, much overdue. In terms of home buyers, it makes a huge difference to us. How do you expect to see this change? Because I know there is an entire portion of the industry that says, hey, you know what, local government is not under the purview of this regulator. That it should come automatically with a single window clearance, which it doesn't. So do you think that might open up maybe Pandora's box, create another window that needs to be greased, another palm that needs to be...
I can't answer about the second statement you made, but it is definitely one more window. It will definitely delay projects. It will add to the time required to commence projects.
And time is money at the end of the day.
Definitely add the cost to the project by way of carrying cost of properties. Having said that, I'm not saying RERA should not have come or it's bad. Every act will have certain good aspects to it and certain not so good aspects. The not so good aspect I mentioned is time and cost. The good aspect is it will bring in much more transparency that is required in the sector.
Did the commercial sector require RERA? I know that residential maybe needed, the buyer needed help.
No, what the government has said is commercial sector requires where you are selling the property. Not if you are leasing a property and if there is no customer by way of who has put in his money, it may not, it won't attract. But a lessee The tenant will come only when the building is ready. So I don't think they need to be covered.
A lot of other developers have told us that the way RERA is designed right now, you only need to register and be covered under RERA when you start selling.
Yeah,
They're actually considering the possibility of finishing all their approvals, building, then starting to sell. But in that case, the price of the home will go up tremendously.
No doubt.
They're also considering bringing down the output per year once RERA comes in, because it's just too risky now to pre-launch and to sell at these levels. Is that also a plan you're considering, or do you want to wait? Are you waiting for it to come in?
I think most developers are examining and exploring these options, because I would say it may become much more safer from a developer's point of view to bring the building to up to a certain stage and then start marketing, which means there will be flow of funds would be much slower unless you borrow more. Borrowing more is okay as long as your debt equity ratio is okay, because real estate is generally funded partially by the developer's money, partially by borrowing, and partial to substantial by advances from sale of units during the construction period. It is that segment of money, that portion of money which we receive from the customers may need to be relooked as a part of the strategy.
Because also the other costs that will come in, there's a 5-year guarantee.
Yeah.
That will, it's a cost the developer has to pick up. There's a lot of other costs that all of these conforming to these regulations will come with a price, which will get passed on to the customer. Are we seeing straight off prices go up after the regulator comes
undoubtedly,
in?
Undoubtedly it will go up. Primarily,
do you have you done a back of envelope estimate of ballpark?
No, so far no. But if it is normally, if a finance cost of a project, if it is not sold initially and sold in the end, can be as high as 15 to 20% of the project cost, finance cost. That is currently not the case with most residential projects, but it is the case with commercial projects where one is leasing the building. So if a residential also has to go the commercial way, the cost of the product will go up by 15-20%.
It would have been, in an ideal world, nice to see RERA come in with the Land Titling Act as well. Rajasthan has done it, which means that it's possible. What sort of a difference will it make if we had land titling?
It will make huge difference.
If we could get insurance, if we could get online records, perhaps digitized records.
No, it will make a huge difference, and it is one of the most requirements in this sector, because whether it is for the buyer or for the developer, the title insurance is essential. It is not, and we can only give the title that we have received from the previous seller.
Yes.
And the title insurance is there in many developed markets, and there is no reason why it should not come to Indian market, particularly when India is becoming or going to become from a developing country to a developed country in the near future.
All right. I wish you very, very good luck, and I thank you so much for your time and this beautiful space that you have built in the city. Thank you.
And thanks for coming to Brigade Group.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.